Hello there. Cody Ko is an absolutely massive content creator on the platform of YouTube. Of course, he's well known for his commentary-based reactions, where he reacts to certain TikTokers or YouTubers or influencers, where he just in general clowns on a lot of content creators. Over the years, Cody has become one of the most famous creators on this platform, but he's been around for a very long time. Starting off as a software developer, then moving over to Vine and becoming a Vine star, Cody Ko has been in the social media space for over 10 years. But despite gaining somewhat of a cult status and being just in general an extremely beloved content creator on this platform, Cody has been involved in a large amount of controversy recently after some things that he swept under the rug for a long time have come back and pretty much just completely exposed him for a lot of terrible things. In June and July of 2024, Cody Ko faced serious allegations involving him sleeping with social media star Tana Mongeau when she was 17 years old and he was 25 years old. And of course, this would be a crime. And these allegations in particular in July of 2024 absolutely exploded. They were everywhere. Every content creator was speaking about them. People on social media apps such as TikTok and Twitter have been speaking about them for the last month, leading to serious questions pointed towards Cody Ko, demands for him to respond, and people even suggesting that Cody should be arrested for what he did. But also, on top of all of that, more and more people digging into the past of Cody Ko and exposing even further dark secrets surrounding him, such as remaining publicly friends with an absolutely horrific human being. And my friends, despite all of this, I am now here to say I have been doing a lot of digging. I've been doing a lot of research, and I've pretty much discovered that this entire situation with Cody Ko is far worse than we originally thought. With the main situation that's been happening with Cody in the last month, a big question has been asked of why is nobody speaking about this. But after doing a little bit of research, I have discovered that this situation with Cody Ko and Tana Mongeau didn't just exist in June of 2024 and Cody was hoping it just went away. This situation goes back over 5 years. I've gone through the archives, and what I've discovered only backs the recent claims against Cody. In fact, people were tweeting about this sort of thing in the year of 2019, over 5 years ago. But I've even found posts out there stretching back to 2014 which make things seem even worse than they already are. And pretty much what I want to do today in this video is go over the entire timeline from 2014 to 2024 and just in general connect the dots behind everything in this situation. Right now it seems that Cody Ko's career is pretty much over. The entire community have turned against him, his friends are speaking out against him, and just in general, it is not looking good for Cody, and we need to explore all of this. But before we do that, my friends, I do just want to put in a request of, could you please subscribe to the YouTube channel? I will be covering the situation as much as I possibly can, and I will be making videos about other subjects out there in very long videos, but also shorter videos. I say shorter, they're still going to be like an hour long, but yeah, if you could subscribe, that would be amazing. Maybe drop a like, maybe drop a comment, but yes, let's get into the beginning of this absolute mess of a situation. Okay, so in this chapter, what I want to do is pretty much connect the dots in every single part of this saga. I've used certain tools which has allowed me to go back into the past archives of 2014 to 2017, and in that I have found a lot of things which really do add up with all of the recent allegations. But before we connect those dots, I think it's important to establish how we've gotten to this point with the recent allegations and why so many people believe them. And this side of the recent situation all begins in June of 2024 when Tana Mongeau was doing a live show for her cancelled podcast, and she in these live shows has been pretty much known for being, I guess, a little bit more open with some of her secrets and some of her problems with a lot of content creators out there. Now on the actual podcast of the cancelled podcast, Tana likes to keep reserved. She likes to, if she, speaks about somebody, not necessarily name drop them, and actually there is a history of cutting things out of the podcast when they I guess, go too far. I guess they don't want too many details to get out there so they don't get in trouble, and that does come up later in this timeline. But yes, at this live show, Tana revealed something about Cody Ko, which in June 2024 shocked the world.
Who's the smallest you've ever had?
Oh my God, do no one look at me, Cody Ko. Delete the videos. I can say that. I was literally 17. I can say that. What? Sorry. Delete the videos. Oh my God, I wasn't here.
Now yes, everybody in that clip was of course laughing, it seemed like a good time, people were enjoying themselves, but when you actually just pause and, take a look at what Tana actually just said in that clip, what she says is an incredibly disturbing thing, an allegation which really doesn't look good on Cody Ko at all. And with this clip being reposted throughout TikTok, it got a lot of people out there talking. A lot of people started to debate, well, is Cody Ko a predator? Because what was being said in that clip makes him look like one. And this moves us then to June the 22nd of 2024, where Tana Mongeau addressed the situation in a podcast titled Brooke Finally Reveals Her A-List Boyfriend. And in this podcast, Tana and her co-star Brooke Schofield discuss a large amount of things. They're having a good time, a good laugh. But in one particular moment, they start discussing the whole incident of what was mentioned about Cody Ko. And look, every single time when I've seen a situation where somebody's doing some live stream or live show, they have a little outburst, and maybe what they reveal is actually completely true, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they actually wanted the whole world to know that truth at that moment of time. And when they do a follow-up, they usually kind of, make things look a little bit better than they actually were presenting them to be originally. And when I saw this podcast, I thought maybe it was going to be that. But no, actually, it's the complete opposite. Tana doubles down and pretty much outright exposes Cody Ko, and in my opinion, what she said on the cancelled live show was actually pretty light. When she goes into detail about the situation on this podcast, in my opinion, it only makes Cody look a million times worse.
It was a crime.
Yeah.
And I've tried to talk about this a million times, and I feel like I never have the right words. But it's everywhere all over the internet, and I know people want me to talk about it, and I'm going to do my best right now, I mean, I hooked up with Cody Ko when I was 17 and he was 25. Yeah, it happened. And I think that, first of all, I'm trying to think about it from a perspective of like a younger sister or someone that I really care about. Even the other day, I was texting just about her life and everything that's going on in her life right now. And I thought to myself, how protective I was over her, especially before she was 18. And if something like that was happening to her, I would never let it fly. Well, you know what I mean?
It's honestly disgusting. And I also think when you're that age, you think you know everything and you think you're way more mature than you actually are. And then from our age now, we can look at it in hindsight's 2020 and it's like, oh my God, you were a child.
Yes.
You were young.
I think a lot of things like that happened to me as well, because I really did have to grow up severely at a really young age.
100%.
You know what I mean? By the time I was 16, I truly was just even when it came down to knowledge and wisdom and everything, I was a 21-year-old.
You were forced to grow up so early.
And because of that, a lot it ended up happening to me that probably shouldn't have happened.
Now, this is what I meant about this making Cody look a million times worse. Because, of course, in the original clip that made the situation explode, where Tana is speaking about it on her live show, the whole objective of these live shows is to make the crowd have a good time, to make them laugh and to entertain them. And even when she said that extremely serious allegation, she was laughing and joking around. But ultimately, what was being said was a very serious thing. And in this podcast, she can actually go in more depth. And of course, what she says is at the time, she was very, very young. At the time of blowing up on YouTube, she was between the ages of 15 and 16 years old. And of course, that would put her in an extremely vulnerable position. Because Tana was coming into an industry at a very fast rate. She was becoming incredibly popular at a very young age. And of course, that would introduce her to a lot of adult content creators, people who would love to be in a position of Tana Mongeau. They would love to have millions of subscribers, and they obviously would probably try and take advantage of Tana. She would be at a very young age of where maybe she was actually getting exposed to some of her favorite content creators, and that would put her in a position of where she was easily manipulated. Now, you can say that I'm reaching here, but honestly, I'm absolutely not. I've been in this space for a very long time, and I don't have too many friends who are content creators in this space. Yes, I have acquaintances. Yes, I follow a lot of content creators, but I'm not really close with too many creators. And with that, I kind of look at things from afar, and the amount of times I have seen a young content creator come into the space, they get very popular at a very fast rate, and they suddenly get surrounded by a bunch of adult content creators. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean for an illegal reason, but it usually is because those adult content creators want to use that person, that younger person, to their advantage. They want to manipulate them into taking their fame and giving it to themselves. It's usually what happens in this space, and it really does make me feel grossed out every single time I see it. Now, obviously, not in every single situation it's going to be like that, but it does happen a lot, and it's clear Tana was in that position at that time. She was in LA, she was young, and she was upcoming, and of course that was going to introduce her to a lot of content creators. And of course, that leads us into the main story of what happened between Tana Mongeau and Cody Ko in early 2016.
I think that I also have a really bad case of to be 100% truthful, when I look back at the Cody situation, I definitely am like, why was he doing that? You know what I mean? And there were so many situations. There was a situation with Gabby Hanna at a Playlist Live where she pulled him aside and told him like, yo, she's 17. And then we still went and hooked up. And I can look at that and be like,
What the
why
fuck?
the were you doing that?
Now, my friends, obviously, this is just absolutely despicable. Cody Ko at the time would have been around 25 years old. Tana would have been around 17 years old. And that is completely and utterly indefensible. This is something that should be spoken about and rightly is being spoken about right now by everybody. But that then leads us into an interesting thing here of when this whole thing was starting to blow up in June of 2024. Not many people, i.e. content creators, were speaking about this other than really H3H3. It kind of felt that this situation was being swept under the rug, and personally, I didn't really see this situation until July of 2024, and that introduces us to D'angelo Wallace. You see, D'angelo on the 14th of July 2024 uploaded a video titled An Uncomfortable Conversation About Cody Ko. And not only did D'angelo make this story absolutely explode in his video, but he clearly had done his research to the point of making things a million times worse for Cody Ko. And what D'angelo's deep research actually entailed was certain video clips that actually backed Tana Mongeau's story. Now, Tana's story was of course very specific, that in early 2016 at a live event called Playlist Live, she of course had this altercation with Cody Ko where he completely took advantage of her. Now, of course, the details here are very specific, as they should be. Tana is telling the story and she has the full right to do that. But what makes this interesting is D'angelo pulls out a clip that was pretty much long lost at this point, purged from the internet. And what this clip does is show Gabby Hanna pretty much reciting the exact same story that Tana Mongeau told in the clip that I showed you previously years before this.
One time, I told a guy, I saw him making out with a girl at a party who was underage, and I pulled him aside and I was like, hey man, you probably don't know, I know she like looks a little older, she's underage, watch it. And he's like, oh my God, thank you for telling me. And then he heard that.
Now, obviously, that clip is pretty much word for word the exact same clip that Tana Mongeau was saying in her video only around a month ago at the time of recording this video. Now, I know Gabby Hanna has been a very interesting person over the years on social media, but as far as I know, Gabby Hanna it's not a future tower. She can't look into the future and see Cody Ko cancelled 2024 July. She can't do that. And I just think that it's a little bit coincidental that they told the exact same story years apart. And this clip revelation pretty much made this situation go absolutely viral. Everybody was speaking about it due to the fact that, yes, this simply can't be a coincidence. These two people can't tell the exact same story years apart. But the situation doesn't end there, because D'Angelo's digging also doesn't end there, where he found even more things about Cody Ko which only made him look even worse.
Not many people know that you've already lost fans over an eerily similar topic. You used to frequently feature and promote your college friend Colby Leachman in your videos, until it came out that during your school days, Leachman's university put him on probation for, as a United States District Judge would later put it, the non-consensual videotaping of a act with another student, showing the video to other people, lying to the police about the video, and behaving horribly to that individual and at least one other woman. To make matters worse, the woman in the video also alleged that Leachman drugged her before the recording and that she hadn't actually consented to anything at all. You had this man in your videos. You were telling us to follow him on Instagram, and at some point you did wise up, so he's no longer part of your content, but he still seems like he's very much a part of your friend group. From the continued hangout since then to inviting him to your wedding just last year.
Now, my friends, both things here are just pretty much completely inexcusable and indefensible, where regardless with the Tana situation or with what D'Angelo just showed us, none of this can be excused in my personal opinion. Cody Ko has a platform with millions of subscribers, and if you took those millions of subscribers away, this would still be an absolutely terrible and indefensible thing. So many other YouTubers have lost their careers for doing far less than what Cody has done here. And of course, when this video came out, as I said, it made the situation go viral. Everyone was speaking about it. Cody Ko started to lose thousands of subscribers every single day, and at this point, it just really felt like his career was completely and utterly over. But that led us into the question that D'Angelo asked in his video of, why is nobody, or at least at the time, was nobody speaking about this situation? Because it pretty much only seemed that at the moment of uploading his video, only he and H3H3 were the giant content creators speaking about this situation. Yeah, a few TikToks were going around, but ultimately it kind of felt like nobody really knew about this. And look, hindsight is an absolutely beautiful thing, but ultimately, I feel like the main reason this situation wasn't spoken about was because of Cody Ko himself. I think that Cody has completely swept this situation under the rug for years now. And yes, I did just say years because, as I said towards the beginning of this video, this situation can be argued goes back to 2014, and this is when I started to do my own digging and use a lot of tools such as archive tools, internet search history tools, just a bunch of ways to find older posts. And this led to a lot of discoveries. And in my opinion, it only makes things look even worse for Cody. And that starts us off in the year of 2014, when I found these tweets from Tana Mojo, where she is saying how much she loves Cody Ko and wishes that Cody was her BFF. And from these tweets, yes, it's very clear that from a very young age, Tana was a very big fan of Cody Ko, even in his Vine days. And obviously what happened with Cody and Tana transpired around less than 2 years after Tana had made those tweets. And look, I'm not saying you can't go and befriend your content creators if you yourself become a content creator. I myself have befriended content creators that I was a fan of before I was a YouTuber. It's something that naturally happens. But when you look at these tweets, knowing what happened, in my opinion, it makes things seem even more sinister, because not only was she a young upcoming content creator in a vulnerable position, but she was also a fan, a super fan of this individual. Tana has an absolute plethora and history of tweets saying how much she loves Cody Ko's content, and I am sure when they met in 2016, Cody absolutely would have had some indication to this. I know how it it is when you meet a content creator as a content creator. You say, I love your content. I love who you are. You know, it's just something that naturally happens, and usually it's wholesome. But Tana Mongeau at the time was obviously a teenager, and I think Cody would have known that and should have approached it from further distance, because obviously Tana would have wanted to connect and meet other influencers at that point of her career. She would have wanted to meet the people that she was a fan of, like Cody, a man in his mid-20s, and in my opinion, Cody definitely took advantage of that whole predicament. And then that takes us to the area of the incident. Playlist Live 2016. Now, my friends, if you don't know what Playlist Live is, pretty much it's like your every other day gaming festival or YouTube festival. It's where a bunch of content creators go and meet up, they have a good time, they meet fans, they link up with other content creators, they collaborate, they go to parties, they drink alcohol. These are pretty common things in the space. You've got VidCon, you had Insomnia Gaming Festival. These things have been around since the beginning of time pretty much, and they have always been a complete and utter cesspool to certain incidents happening, and it seems that Playlist Live 2016 was no different to that. But what's interesting is out there right now is a lot of people speculating about when this event actually took place, because I found posts of people out there saying that Playlist Live indicates to the fact that Tana Mongeau was 18 years old and not 17 years old, because Playlist Live took place in late 2016, not early 2016. Well, I started doing some digging and discovered the fact that Playlist Live takes place multiple times throughout the year, and in specific, Orlando Playlist 2016 was pretty much the main event of that year. It took place in April 2016, where Tana Mongeau would have been 17 years old. And look, I know what a few people will say, well, how is this evidence that either Cody, Tana, or Gabby Hanna were at this event in April of 2016? Yeah, that's an understandable question, and here's your answer. Here's a tweet of Tana confirming her attendance at Playlist Live in April 2016, and here's a photo of Gabby Hanna attending Playlist Live in April of 2016, and here is a photo of Cody Ko at a panel at Playlist Live in Orlando, April 2016. And ladies and gentlemen, to top it all off, not only do we have these photos, but also here is a clip of Cody Ko at 2016 Playlist Live stating that his favorite thing about the event was the parties.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Tyler Lane from iHeartRadio and Now 105, and we are at Playlist Live with Cody Ko. What's going on?
Chillin'.
So what's your favorite part about being at Playlist Live?
The parties.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, obviously, that clip hasn't really aged too well. Not only do we have the confirmation of Tana Mongeau being at the event, but we also have the confirmation of Cody being at the event, which obviously, you know, indicates that they could have both met, but we also have proof of Gabby Hanna being at the event, which means they could have all been in the same area at the same time, but now we have the confirmation that there was parties at the event, because obviously there would be parties at these events, because there always is at these YouTube events. And as somebody that has been to a few YouTube parties at these events, I know how they go. There is always one party, one major party that all of the big influencers go to, and I wasn't invited to them. But regardless of my lack of social media friends, yes, these events take place, and I know for a fact that all of the big influencers love to be in one area, and I have no doubt in my mind that Playlist Live was the exact same thing, and I know that because I was invited by a friend to come to Playlist Live in 2019, where the very same parties were referenced to me. So I have no doubt in my personal mind that Cody Ko, Tana Mongeau, and Gabby Hanna were all at the same influencer party in 2016, because why wouldn't they be? They're influencers trying to climb up the ladder, and how do you do that? Well, you shove influencers all into a big petting zoo, because that's pretty much what these parties were. And I just think there are way too many coincidences here. Stories of people speaking about Playlist Live on multiple occasions in April of 2016, and now we've got evidence that these individuals were there at April 2016. To me personally, honestly, I just don't think we can look past this. And now we need to move on to Gabby Hanna's Instagram, where recently she's been posting some cryptic things, such as little children, keep yourself from idols, what is done in the dark will be exposed in the light. Now, yes, that is a little bit weird, that is a little bit cryptic, but I refuse to believe yet again that this is a coincidence. This was posted amidst all of the drama kicking off between Tana and Cody, and I refuse to believe that Gabby is referring to anything else. Just look at those words. Little children, keep yourself from idols. Cody Ko was the idol of Tana Mojo. We have seen that in her tweets from 2014. And obviously, what she says here is what is done in the dark will be exposed in the light, and that is now happening in 2024. What was swept under the rug for years straight is now being exposed to the world, i.e. in the light. But yeah, now we've connected the dots in a situation, it's now time to look at how Cody, over the years, swept this all under the rug. And obviously, I've been speaking about how this was going on from June 2024 and no one was speaking about it, but recently, I made a discovery that a major content creator that isn't Gabby and isn't Tana spoke about this situation in 2021 and name dropped Cody Ko and Tana Mojo. So yes, the common belief on social media right now is this situation really only kicked off in June of 2024, but as I said, another major content creator spoke about this situation in 2021. And in fact, I found tweets out there speculating about this from over 5 years ago. People genuinely all the way back then seemed to have some indication that something went on between Cody and Tana over 5 years ago. And the reason for that is the fact that Cody and Tana in 2016 uploaded 2 collaborations onto each of their YouTube channels. And the main one being video ever featuring Cody Ko, and this came out in May of 2016. Now in that video, Cody would have been 25 years old and Tana Mojo would have been 17 years old, and it was uploaded 2 to 3 weeks after Play This Live took place. Which to me is only a further dot connected because this kind of shows that they met at Play This Live at one of these parties and they started to work together. They wanted to make content together because Tana was a big fan of Cody, and we all know now anyways that Cody got something out of Tana, which is obviously horrible. But then fast forward to December 2021, 5 years after 2016, and you can actually find quite a few tweets out there referencing the fact that Cody Ko had broken the law. And as I said, a major content creator out there did speak about this in 2021, but what's key here that I've left out is that, well, the source of information that that content creator got that information from wasn't Gabby Hanna or a random leaker, it was Tana Mojo herself. You see, in the early days of Tana's cancelled podcast in 2021, she uploaded an episode where she was discussing her early days as a content creator, particularly at the age of 17 years old. And what's particularly interesting about this podcast, and links up with something I said earlier, is Tana cut out a segment using the YouTube editor from this podcast. And that certain small segment was Tana discussing influencers that she hooked up with at the age of 17. And one of the influencers that she names is Cody Ko.
I was 17 at the time, 18. I started kind of hooking up with other people. Shout out JC Kalen, shout out Cody Ko.
Now, as I said, that clip was originally cut out from the actual video uploaded onto their YouTube channel. And as I said, that links up to what I was saying earlier about Tana clearly wanting to speak about a lot of things, but really not being ready to go public with it at the time. And now in 2024, given the sheer popularity of her podcast, it seems that Tana is now much more confident with where she's at and feeling safe in speaking about these things. Because obviously, as I said at the beginning of the video, Cody Ko has had a cult status for years now. He could upload a video of him just sat staring at the camera for 20 minutes straight, and that would still get 2 million views. I'm not even kidding. Cody is unbelievably popular, so I'm not really shocked that Tana removed that from the podcast. And if you don't believe me that it was cut out of the podcast, there are still comments to this day from years ago that remain on that video referencing Cody. As you can see here, someone commented saying, them cutting the Cody part in the video version just shows how it was such a bad accident. And then there are other comments right here discussing the same situation. But this, my friends, is where things get even more interesting, because with Tana speaking about it in 2021 and her fans speaking about it very briefly, that introduces the mysterious content creator that I've been referencing throughout this chapter that also spoke about this situation, and that is D'angelo Wallace, a tea/commentary channel that speaks about drama-related topics on the regular, and in 2021, she uploaded this video. Tana Mojo exposes Cody Ko. It's bad. And honestly, aside from a lot of deep diving and digging into this situation, Angelica's video really isn't that different from D'angelo Wallace's video 3 years later. She speaks about this situation, she speaks about Tana, explaining her story to do with Cody Ko, and Angelica says that this is obviously a terrible thing. But what's really interesting about this is, despite a major content creator in Tana Mojo saying something very serious about another older content creator, and another major content creator in D'angelo Wallace covering that, it didn't lead to anything. The situation barely got any traction. Angelica's video only got 180,000 views. And yes, obviously, that is a lot of views, but in the grand scheme of things, given how big the situation is in 2024, that really isn't anything. When you go to Cody's channel and look at the views he was getting at the time in 2021, it absolutely does not compare. And this, my friends, is when we get into the rug sweeping, because I personally believe what happened here is Cody definitely saw this situation. There is absolutely no way that a content creator made a major allegation like this about him and he didn't see it. I'm sorry, but there's just absolutely no way he didn't see it. And I think his response to this was simply not responding. And I want to refer to my previous video that I made about Illuminati. Now, a big part of that video is me referring to the fact that Illuminati pretty much made her situation 100 times worse when she took the situation from a very niche event happening on Twitter onto her YouTube channel. She uploaded a video that got over 1 million views titled Illuminati Exposed, where she responded to a bunch of things being said about her in a niche community on Twitter. And because of that made the situation go 1,000 times worse for her. It blew up. Content creators to this day, like myself, are still speaking about it, and Illuminati pretty much lost her entire career. And personally, I think Cody Ko has seen this thing happen multiple times over the years. As I always say, the response to a situation is honestly more important than the original situation itself, so I think Cody just thought, you know what? I'm getting millions of views a video, I'm just going to continue to upload them, and that's going to bury Angelica and bury Tana Mojo's videos in the algorithm. If he just uploaded 5 videos, that will come up in the top search results and it will bury Angelica's videos because she'll post more videos and that original video she made would just simply disappear. It's how the algorithm works. Cody's name was in Angelica's title and Cody's name is obviously in his YouTube channel's name, meaning that his videos with much more views are going to bury the situation. And yes, there obviously were a few tweets made about this whole thing, but more dramas came along. It blew away the situation and it did just seem like a minor bump in the road for Cody at the time. And look, using archive tools, I managed to find a few tweets out there between 2022 and 2023 of people referring to this incident with Cody and Tana, but ultimately, these tweets really aren't anything in comparison to the grand YouTube empire of Cody Ko. He was getting millions of likes, millions of views, thousands of comments. What is a few tweets about him over the years realistically going to do? And I think he knew that, and because of that, he chose to ignore it for as long as he possibly could. And naturally, with this situation turning out to be a much longer situation than we originally anticipated, that will obviously lead to the questions pointed towards Cody's friends. Now, personally, I really don't think that a lot of Cody's friends would have saw D'angelo Wallace's video about Cody. It's not really a thing to do to search your friend's name on YouTube. I personally don't go and search my friend's YouTube name up because, you know, I speak to them every single day. Why would I go search them on YouTube? I don't watch my friends' videos because, you know, it's a little bit weird. And if I do, it will come up in my subscription section. Look, the reality is again, hindsight is a wonderful thing. You can be friends with somebody for years and that person can turn out to be an absolute horrific garbage piece of shit. And honestly, right now, I have seen so many content creators out there that have been friends of Cody speaking up against him. So I'm not going to speculate personally, and I just want to completely keep this on Cody Ko himself. And with that, we need to now move into Cody Ko's response. So my friends, at the time of me recording this YouTube video, it's going to be at least a week since D'angelo Wallace uploaded his video about Cody Ko. It's going to be around a month since H3H3 started covering the situation, and it's going to be over 3 years since Angelica Oles first made her video about the situation. So Cody Ko has really had plenty of time to respond to the situation. And look, I don't usually cover every single situation and scandal on YouTube, but personally, Cody's response to the situation has really interested me and actually prompted me into making this video, because I wasn't going to speak about it, mainly because I'd seen everybody else has spoken about it, and I was thinking, oh, well, everyone else has said their piece, I don't really need to say anything. And then I started to do my digging and found everything that I've said in this YouTube video. And obviously, that all came from Cody's response. Now, Cody hasn't responded on his YouTube channel, he's not responded on his Instagram, and he's not responded on his Vine page. No, instead, Cody responded to this whole thing at a DJ event. And I'm just so confused by this. And you may be thinking, Fraser, did you just say what you just said? Cody Ko responded to predatory allegations with a DJ set. And yes, that's absolutely what happened. As you can see right here, Cody Ko was booked up to play a DJ set at a club in Vegas on July the 19th, and there is an actual video of him DJing, and he's playing multiple songs, but one particular song that he played was Sorry by Justin Bieber. Now, that song came out over 9 years ago. I don't think, again, this is a coincidence. I think this is a very on-the-nose, deliberate thing from Cody Ko. And honestly, it kind of just seems that Cody is becoming everything that he laughed about on his YouTube channel. He has a whole series called That's Cringe. And honestly, this is one of the cringiest things I've ever seen. You are a 34-year-old married man, and this is how you're responding to these situations. It's honestly quite pathetic. Now, personally, I've always said that when it comes to dramatic situations on YouTube, I don't think everybody has to respond to everything publicly. If a situation isn't massive, I think it can be dealt with behind closed doors. But with this situation with Cody Ko, it is massive. It is an allegation of a serious crime, and Cody should be doing something different to what he's doing here. The fact that he hasn't cancelled his DJ tour and is doing this, to me personally, is him laughing in the face of absolutely everybody. And when I saw this video, yeah, I was just absolutely fascinated because, you know, I've not necessarily been the biggest fan of Cody Ko over the years, and that's not me just like backing, going back and like, oh no, I never liked him. It's no. I just wasn't a big fan of watching his videos. I don't watch many commentary videos out there unless the videos are like 7 hours long, and now you can see why I make 7-hour long videos. But yeah, I don't like to watch too many YouTubers out there who do commentary because, you know, I do it myself, and I think I would go mental if I had to watch every commentary YouTuber. But when I saw this, I was just like, you made content criticizing people, and you are now, you know, it's just a very mental thing to do. And you can see even Tana Mojo was shocked by this response, as she literally made a comment on the TikTok about this. And because of this situation absolutely exploded even further. More and more people were speaking about it, and Cody started to lose even more followers. And that led to things then getting even worse. Because with Cody's terrible response, it caused people to want to dig even further. And dig they did, my friends. People started to find some serious things about Cody, which only make the situation, again, look a million times worse. Now, as the days go by with Cody Ko, more and more content creators keep on making videos about him, and in particular, more and more friends keep speaking about him, and even further in particular, more and more allegations keep getting made against him. And the most recent allegation stems from Cody's own Reddit, where somebody says, "I religiously have watched Cody since Vine and have a vivid memory of him dating a high schooler." Now, obviously, we have to take this with a pinch of salt. Whenever there is an ongoing situation, you will typically get a lot of false allegations that come out with it. But obviously, this new allegation has also done a lot of rounds. A lot of people are talking about it and is getting a lot of traction, and YouTubers are covering it because there are some very, very weird things going on here. Him and his frat friend group would hang out with a bunch of teen girls, and they'd sometimes appear in videos. There was one girl he'd be one-on-one with in his Vines, which people speculated he was dating at the time. I remember looking into it and was surprised that she was like 17 years old, and he was in his mid-20s. And look, with a Reddit post like this, in a massive situation like this, I usually wouldn't cover this, but given the fact that they have attached evidence to this, really makes this whole thing a lot more suspicious. And here is an old Vine of Cody Ko and this supposed girl that they were speaking about.
Oh, it didn't work.
Kinda.
Damn it!
Okay, so now you've seen the Vine, now we need to go to the actual profile. Now, apparently, the girl in that Vine is this individual right here, who you can see is with Cody on his shoulders at some concert festival thing. But this is when things start to get particularly suspicious and weird. Because this image here is somebody tagging that exact same girl and Instagram profile 425 weeks ago saying, "Happy 19th to this sweet girl." And 425 weeks ago, at the time of recording this YouTube video, would have been the 30th of May, 2016. And with the original post that we looked at with the girl on Cody's shoulders, that was posted on April 13th, 2015. Keeping in mind, that girl is this girl. And that would have made the girl at the time 17 years old, and Cody Ko would have been 24 years old, as that took place a year before the incident with Tana Mojo. And obviously, this looks very, very weird, and naturally it looks very, very bad on Cody Ko, and a lot of people have been speaking about this. Now, Cody, at the time of me recording this video, has not put out a response. Maybe when I upload the video, there will be a response, but ultimately, right now, this is another thing that hasn't been addressed. This whole situation has been going on for years now, and it seems that Cody has swept so much under the rug. And look, I understand people grow and change and make mistakes and become better people many years later. That's something that is a very natural thing. But this is different. What's being accused here is an actual crime. So no, this isn't regular YouTube drama. This is a very serious thing that I think Cody needs to actually respond to and handle. I don't think that this is something that you can just flat out ignore and handle behind closed doors. Even with the other thing that D'Angelo spoke about in his video, with Cody being publicly friends with a predator for years, featuring him in his videos and even recently hanging out with him, that has also gotten worse, as people on Reddit have also started to do deep dives, and they have found clips of Cody and this guy on Cody's YouTube channel, and these clips are still publicly available at the time of recording this video on Cody's own channel.
A couple of gentlemen just nursing some Prosecco out in the street, huh?
It's been served up as
his tradition. Colby's drink comes in a weird ass glass. Colby again with the up drink.
Yes, it is tradition. The higher from the ground, the better the drink.
Look at how high this is. Look at this.
Quite a solid 6 inches.
You can't really see the scales weird, but it's at least 2 feet off the fucking table right now.
Solid 2.5. 2.5.
Now, in my opinion, it's not just irresponsible to platform somebody like that on a YouTube channel with so many subscribers. Cody Ko at the time was a very famous individual. As I said, he was very popular in 2014, as we saw from Tana's tweets in 2014. So in 2016, to still platform that guy, but then later on, years later, to still hang out with that guy, it's just evil. It's so wrong and despicable. I would think that most people, if they were friends with somebody that was accused of something like that, would then just drop them. Especially with the fact that this wasn't just an accusation. This went way beyond that. Cody Ko should not have been platforming this guy, and it seems that he is still friends with this guy. And given the fact that Cody Ko is somebody that over the years has been well known for being friends with a lot of younger women and having those women in his friendship group, I think that this is not only just irresponsible, but incredibly dangerous and really makes you look at Cody Ko. And obviously my perception of the guy has already massively changed because of the situation, but this is just another case of that. And honestly, it's just utterly despicable and disturbing that he allowed this guy to stay around in his friendship group, but also to be on his platform. People idolize Cody Ko. As we've seen with Tana Mojo, people look up to the guy, and he allowed this individual to be on his multi-million follower platform for years and is still remaining friends with him to this day. Yes, you know, he doesn't show the guy in his videos anymore, but as we've seen, he is still friends with the guy, so he doesn't take any level of responsibility for these actions. He just wants to once again sweep things under the rug, hope people don't find out, but of course everybody has found out via D'Angelo's video, and this I really think is an impossible situation for Cody to get out of. And with that, I think that has to lead into the conversation of simply, where do we go from here? So yes, the big question is, what happens now? Where does Cody go from this situation? Will he respond to this situation? Because obviously, the common belief will be, well, surely, yes, he has to respond to this situation. And, you know, I'm with you. I would typically agree with you. But I don't think Cody Ko himself necessarily agrees with you. Because let's be real here, my friends. We have to go back to what I said earlier at the very beginning of this situation. Cody Ko was not only a software developer where he made millions from that, but he also probably made millions from Vine and then made millions from YouTube for over 6 years. And he definitely in that time invested in things, invested in businesses, just in general built up a very steady cash flow outside of social media. So I think Cody will be seeing the situation right now and thinking, do I really need to respond to this? Because maybe he thinks that he can just go off into the sunset and ignore it forever. Because he has the money. He can go and just ignore this and live a happy life. Whether you agree with that or not, I think it's a reality that he could absolutely go with. And it also comes back to what I was speaking about earlier with the Illuminati situation and making things even bigger. Because yes, right now, this situation is absolutely massive, but if Cody Ko responds to this on his main YouTube channel, it will make it 1,000,000 times bigger. I've asked my friends who aren't in social media what they think about the Cody Ko situation, and they say to me, what Cody Ko situation? I was watching that Scringe video like a week ago, and I'm just like, wow, my perspective is so warped in comparison to people that aren't chronically online. And I think Cody will be aware of that. And I think with that, Cody will then take that and just walk away from social media, live happily in his multi-million-dollar mansion, and just continue to go about a private life. Because if everybody in the world doesn't think he's this terrible person, then maybe in a weird, messed up way, he will be happy with that. Yes, everyone on social media will know what Cody is, but the reality is not every single subscriber of Cody Ko is in this social media space. So many people are subscribed to content creators and barely know anything about the YouTube landscape. That's just the reality of this platform. It is that big, and I think Cody will know that, and I think it will be unlikely for him to directly respond to this situation. But yeah, to kind of conclude this situation, ultimately, it's despicable. It's a disgusting and honestly heartbreaking situation, and I truly feel bad for all of the victims involved in this situation and wish them nothing but the best. I see people saying Tana Mojo has a history of lying and stuff like that, but we're not doing that. We're not doing that, and especially with the amount the dots have connected in this situation, To me personally, this is just despicable, and Cody Ko does need to respond, but I really, really don't think he will. In terms of Tana, she has been regularly speaking about this situation, and I'm genuinely glad to see that. Obviously, over the years, I haven't been the biggest fan of Tana, but it absolutely does not mean I won't believe her in this situation. And in fact, Tana actually did recently go on Trisha Paytas' podcast to discuss this whole thing, and she even said in this situation, she's been very upset about the fact that people just instantly didn't believe her because she is Tana Mojo. In fact, she says that she isn't traumatized by the situation with Cody, but this was the thing that really upset her.
There's a lot of things I look back on that I think would maybe traumatize. I love how serious we just got.
Yeah, I know. I want to finish the smallest man in the world, but we'll go back. I got it in my brain, okay?
That like would maybe traumatize the average person more, but you've been through things that are so much more detrimental that you can kind of look back at these things and they don't really feel traumatizing.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Like, and that was kind of the situation I was in and like my perspective on it. But then I was like, but at the same time, like if I had a 17-year-old daughter or a little sister or something, like I would kill.
Yeah.
You know, so then it's like.
Same, yeah.
It's hard in that regard. But the thing that was actually really heartbreaking to me and kind of crazy to me is after it started going viral, like seeing so many people like not believing me and being like, it's Tana, so who cares? It's this. And then I just started to feel bad for so many other girls who maybe look up to me and want to speak their truth and then see the way people like just don't believe people. And it's like, I've never really, I've always had people not believe like things, but I don't know why this one just like hits different.
Now, obviously, that is just absolutely devastating to hear, especially considering most of the controversies from Tana Mojo were from over half a decade ago at this point. And obviously, that doesn't excuse absolutely everything. But to say, oh, this thing happened 5-6 years ago, so that means you're lying about this completely separate situation, in my opinion, is just absolutely horrific and honestly only plays into the whole Cody Ko response thing. Because by people not believing Tana Mojo based on absolutely nothing, despite there being so much evidence against Cody, that will only cause Cody to not have to respond to the situation just because of the amount of doubters there are over Tana. But yes, that is the ending of the video. Thank you so much for your support. Please, if you could, subscribe. It's incredibly important. As I said, I'm back making videos, back trying to be consistent, and I would really appreciate the support. If you could like the video, drop your thoughts in the comment section as well. I would be really interested to see what a lot of you guys have to say about this. And obviously, be careful with what you speak about in the comment section. Don't go and speculate about specific rumors that have absolutely no evidence to back it whatsoever. Just give me your thoughts and opinions down below. I would really, really appreciate it. And honestly, if there was one last thing I'd like to say to you all, I think the biggest ironic thing about this entire situation is the fact that the final episode of Cody's podcast is literally titled The Final Firework. Yeah, that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for coming along. Instagram is inabber, and yeah, I'm gonna go take a shower right now because I am way too sweaty. Bye-bye. Have a lovely day.